Sup, Dibbles? J-Dawg back with another goddamn fucking interview. And today he's got both the goddamn brothers from the almighty, and I said almighty, goddammit, Sadistic Intent here, down at the goddamn Evil War Fest. So guys, you made it here. This might be my third time fucking seeing you guys live. And so let's kind of like start from the beginning. You guys are like what I consider one of the very few bands that can play old school first generation style death metal and are still carrying the torch after well over 30 years. And there's not too many bands that do. I mean, what I consider there's like you guys, there's Nunslaughter, there's Cyanide. Outside that, there's not too much. And it seems like a lot of what like the younger generation, that's not even totally their fault, but they can always do research. What they kind of get into and what they see as death metal, as a lot of it, it's just this kind of like, you know, there's just these goddamn juggalos on stage with baggy pants and sports jerseys and ball caps and, you know, arm behind the back, fucking tough guy shit, and and this just yo slammy riffs, and that's what's kind of known as death metal. You guys being like, yeah, the style that you were there from the early days. What's your take on that? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, thanks, man. Well, the truth is, we got into metal at a very young age. We were.
No, I was talking to him. He's trying to cut from the camera.
All right. Okay. So the truth is, we got into metal at a very young age, and in the very beginning for us, it was bands like Black Sabbath, it was AC/DC, Judas Priest, Van Halen, there was Ozzy, there was Dio, Motorhead, Iron Maiden. It goes on, and then the music's just the original metal was actually very controversial back then. I remember people calling AC/DC Antichrist, Devil's Children. People are freaking out on Ozzy. They're freaking out on Dio. I remember having record burnings. And it was like heavy metal was this dark music. And we liked it. And the next generation of bands, again, you have a band called Slayer coming out of LA. And for us, it's like these guys are from our stomping grounds. And that was right there a new direction in metal music. It became like this next level. And to give credit to bands like Venom and Merciful Fate, I mean, those guys are gods. And it inspired a band like Slayer, but Slayer took that and just made it more aggressive. Became they got the hardcore punk. I remember Dave Lombardo told me himself. It was Jeff Hanneman would bring tapes, and they were like, "Man, listen to this shit." And Dave was like, "I can play that shit." Started playing faster, and these guys went from heavy metal to Slayer. It became that aggressive, and little by little, from there, the music evolved. It just little by little, the younger bands are coming out, and it's just kept on going and going all these years, and you have bands like Sodom, you have bands like Destruction, you have Bathory, you have, again, Hellhammer, all this stuff. And it's the term death metal. I remember even Quarthon from Bathory, the guy's in a pentagram. He's like, fucking, I remember they asked him, what kind of music, what is Bathory? He says, death metal. And that was like my memories of death metal. Like, fuck yeah, this fucking dude is fucking metal as fuck. And bands like Possessed, that Seven Churches album, that was one of the records as well. And it just little by little, just the music continues, and we were there as kids to sort of see this evolution, and our minds, like even like when bands like, for example, like Dark Throne came out and Mayhem, those guys are saying we're death metal, and it was like death metal. It was like, this is the heaviest shit, death metal. And yeah, we felt that was what we wanted to do. We're gonna fucking death metal describes the heavy shit, and that's we became that style. We the people say thrash metal. To me, Metallica was the thrash metal band. The quote unquote big four. I think Slayer is honestly like the black sheep of the big four. It's the band that's really a death black metal band. That's what they were. They were the beginning. It started from there, just kind of little by little kept going and going. And our essence of metal, of death metal, goes back to the old days. It's like a cult, and that's what it is.
You have anything to elaborate on that, Dave?
Pretty much, he summed it up right there. Like that, the traditional ways and keeping the look, and it's kind of like these unset rules, and that's the essence of death metal music and just heavy stuff. These bands that come out after, I'm not sure what that is. These juggalos and this and that. I'm not sure what that is.
There's
not death metal. It's not death metal.
Yeah, like with death metal, I think there's also like a spiritual element to it, and it's like this astral state of mind, and it can be a very fucking. It's
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think people now like that came later in the scene, maybe they don't see it or they don't go deep more in the underground, and they're kind of like in these new ways. They don't really kind of understand the old ways. Maybe some do, and they kind of keep it going. And it's that circle that's more of a cult. That the people that do see it, that go more deep in the underground and are a part of it. That's you're in it.
So I've asked this question then to multiple people on the channel, and get your guys' take. I have a pretty good idea what you're going to say, but you might surprise me. Is what do you consider then the first death metal studio album, not demo or EP, full-length studio album? What do you consider the first death metal record?
Oh man, for me, we kind of like, to me, Slayer was the beginning of death metal. They're the seed. It's had to come from somewhere. You know what I mean? And they kind of.
Yeah. See, the thing is, when I look at death metal. It grew. How does something grow? It came from a seed. Slayer is a seed that grew, and it just got bigger and bigger, and branches came out. But Slayer is the beginning. And to me, I think with Show No Mercy, Slayer was still becoming Slayer. They were from the heavy metal essence, the real metal essence, and they started going to the next level, but it was still developing, on that record. It was kind of like a mix of like old school with, it was like this pretty badass mix, actually. I really enjoy it. But I would say to answer your question, I think when Haunting the Chapel came out, that to me would be the first death metal. And I know people are going to be like, oh, but the voice is not looking, that's...
Nobody really was even possessed, as Jeff claims to be the inventor of death metal. I mean...
Well, logically, I remember, when I was in Possessed, Jeff told me, he goes, listen to me. He goes, I'm not doing Cannibal Corpse style growling. He goes, I'm not doing that. He goes, I'm more like Lemmy, Motorhead. And he goes, like, I was my natural voice. It was kind of like,
I guess with all the effects and everything, it kind of gave it more of an illusion of of a growl.
Yeah,
stuff, in reality, it wasn't, but it was. It sounds like that.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, to give Jeff credit, like I said, he did his thing and he was badass. Give him credit. But I think again, Slayer still, it's pretty much everything that they did. Slayer already done it.
They already had done
it. It's the same. It's like to say they're the first. It's. I think again, you're kind of sort of like, okay, well, this is really the first, but we're not going to say it because down the line it evolved into this, and this doesn't count no more. It's kind of like
where do you cut the line off?
Yeah, we're already seeing the first because the argument maybe people would be, well, fuck that. What about Venom and what about Merciful Fate? You know, they're older. Well, here's what I'm gonna say: those bands, and actually, I had a conversation with Fenris, Dark Throne, and he's the one who kind of brought this up to me. He was saying that both of them are still rock and roll. He goes, those bands are still rock and roll. And when bands like Metallica came out, when bands like Slayer, which is pretty much the same time, he goes, Metallica will be like, yeah, we're thrash. Okay, we're gonna go back to rock and roll. Okay, we're thrash. Okay, we're rock and roll now. And they were teeter-totter. And plus their lyrics are not, it's not, it's not death metal. It's not, that style. It's not. They were doing, and they were doing their thing. Metallica was more of a classic metal connection band, right? Touching into but Slayer was, again, the first. We're talking about the first, and again, if you go back, I see them as the first. I that's the way I see it, because again, Venom, they're sort of like a satanic Motorhead, and Merciful Fate's kind of like a satanic Judas Priest, more classic metal, and Slayer came in, and this is next level now. And I'm sure, like I said, people are going to be like, oh, but the vocals, that's sure. It's all going to come down to that, Yeah. And again, I see it. What's the first one? It's like saying the first plane, right? And people today, well, that doesn't count. That plane's kind of slow. It didn't really fly that good. It's kind of shitty, right? Today's planes are fucking way faster, and right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of the way I see it,
Yeah. So what did you guys think, like, as the 90s came along with bands like Deicide, Cannibal Corpse? I actually never heard what you guys. I knew you guys were mostly the 80s guys.
Yeah.
What did you think of bands like Cannibal Corpse, Deicide? Did you like that or you didn't? I don't even know what your take is on it.
You know what? They weren't like on my top favorite bands. I was already listening to other stuff. It was kind of a little bit different style that I enjoyed and stuff. Also a little bit more, I don't know. Yeah, was coming out, and you had Tune, you had like Morbid Angel. To me, that was more like, that was a different level for me.
Yeah. Man, it's like they're heavy.
Them, they're brutal bands. I respect them.
Hey, they're heavy. So I give credit, to they're heavy, and
But like at that time, when Altars was coming out and the Morbid Angel demos, it was like, oh man.
I was going to ask you both about that because that has been kind of a debate on the channel too between the old heads, Dawn of the Dead, Scott from Sinai. We talked about this. So what is your guys' take? You prefer Altars of Madness or Abominations of Desolation?
They're both good, but I think Altars still that lineup with Pete in the band.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I don't know.
What about you, Rick? What do you?
I mean, honestly, I think I'm going to go with Altars of Madness because it just, I don't know, something about it came together on that one for me.
That lineup, I guess that lineup.
And like I said, it's not that I don't like the other one. I do like it. I do. It's like, it's raw, it's fucking demonic, it's cool. Just Altars, it just...
Kingdom Come, the demo.
Yeah, it's just,
I always said that Kingdom Come's the greatest death metal demo ever for me.
Yeah,
that's a
great demo.
Yeah, that's a great one for sure. Yeah.
And the voice, it was all new back then, so it was just like fun.
Now, surely you guys have a cutoff for Morbid Angel. Like, what was the last Morbid Angel record you liked?
I went maybe up to like Domination. I think.
Oh, you liked that far? I didn't even think you. I didn't even know if you liked Covenant.
No, all those records were good too. I think they were heavy. Domination was a heavy album. You know, I liked the up there.
I mean, it's a trip because Pete's actually like an old friend of ours. And I remember we used to hang out in my garage and party back then, and he joined Morbid Angel. It was really cool to see. Like, oh shit, what the fuck? It's like we used to help out his old band before he left to Florida. They would call me, hey, could you help us out, get backyard parties? And I'll be like, yeah, man, I can get you guys to play. And we got them some gigs and stuff, and so we have a friendship that goes back, and Pete was a part of that sound. He was like sort of like like Galen Bardo for Slayer. He was sort of like that for Morbid Angel.
Yeah.
Pete was like the backbone and the music and just
when he's not him not being in the band, it kind of changed the style. Like for Slayer with Al Davis, it's not the same. That feeling is not there. It doesn't grab you like it used to.
Well, then, since you guys are friends with Pete, I'm going to make an assumption for Grindcore. You automatically like Terrorizer.
Oh yeah.
Did you like other stuff like from the 80s, like Napalm Death, Carcass?
From Enslavement to Obliteration.
Yeah, that was back then. It was just heavy shit coming out. You know, it didn't really matter the labels or any of that. It was just like heavy. You know?
So when you heard an album like Reputrefaction, like a gore
yeah.
grind, like,
Oh yeah.
like it?
Oh yeah.
I was into it.
Okay, yeah.
It was really brutal. You know, Symphony is a Sickness. I think it even like kind of stepped it up a little bit. Like we're gonna.
And those albums were great. It was so heavy. And
I think
I was a fan.
I think they had some great riffs and just it was heavy as fuck. With some really
came out some heavy ass shit.
Yeah.
Right for the camera, goddammit. Every time.
Yeah.
So then going back to the Conflict Within demo,
Yeah.
you guys are known as dark, sadistic death metal, dark topics, with the exception of Morbid Faith on there, which is like one of my favorite songs. And it seems like you guys always leave it on the set list, at least every time I see you guys, which I'm not sure why, but you do. Songs like Speak for Yourself and stuff, it seemed like you had more of like a different lyrical topic that you almost haven't found yourself. Was it just like more of a punk influence?
Yeah, it was big time punk rock.
I guess we liked both. We liked some hardcore punk stuff and death metal, and we kind of blended it with our style and stuff.
Yeah, it's like we just talked about a minute ago with Slayer being inspired by the punk stuff to go faster. We got inspired by some of the punk stuff, so it kind of sort of came into the, like you said, like the early stuff. We're still.
I mean, we still like it. We listen to grindcore bands like like the Terrorizer, the Napalms, and we like death metal too. And we kind of blended it in our music and stuff, and it didn't really matter. I mean, it was just heavy shit.
Yeah. Now, yeah, you took over vocals then after like Impending Doom, right? Or is it right after Impending Doom? Yeah. Okay. So then, but like, so the previous singer, he had a vocal style which was sick. It didn't really sound like anyone else. Yeah. And what my biggest complaint is usually when a band changes vocals, because a lot of times it's totally different. But if they're gonna do it, they gotta have a similar sound. And you did that perfectly. Like you took that style of vocals and kept it very similar. Like sometimes you get a vocalist that changes. I'm like, whoa, dude, you don't even sound anything like that. Did that come naturally to you? Did you have to practice it, or did you intentionally do that? Like,
it was like Rick kind of put me on the spot. He's like, all right, you're singing now. It's like, what the fuck, me?
Yeah.
Because our vocalist he kind of like left in the middle of a show that we're supposed to play, and it was like, dude. And Rick was like, all right, go practice in the car. You're singing tonight. I don't even know the words.
So how did you decide like what kind, like whether you're using a Jeff Becerra style or a growl? Did you just say, well, I'm going to try to do it like it was previous, and like kind of that? Yeah. It's almost like a blackened death, like a raspy voice,
Yeah, I just tried to kind of like do it in my way, I guess, kind of like how it was. But I feel like on Ancient Black Earth, I've got my style down more, and I felt more comfortable on what I wanted to do. Yeah.
And then, so like you guys are probably the only ongoing band for as long as you've been in the death metal scene that doesn't have a full-length album. Was that like semi-intentional, like just keep it underground as fuck, EPs and demos only, or was it like, because you could have technically waited till you had more and more songs as they were written, whether it been the split with Ungod and just let them gather Ancient Black Earth, you could have had
right.
What was the reason you never did a full length?
Honestly, it's just a thing about feeling right about it, and the way our things happen to us over the years, and the band experiences. We went through, different members, different times.
A lot of things happened, a lot of things happened in between that time. It's nothing that we planned out or anything, but, I don't know, somehow people now, like, think it's a cool thing, you know what I mean? But, I mean...
Yeah, it's like, honestly, like, it's just really, when I think about it, it was just a matter of, like, we've been little by little working on stuff, like, gradually. And it was not really, it just sort of happened, you know what I mean? It wasn't 100% planned out or whatever. It just sort of happened. And we just didn't want to feel like we're putting out something we have to. Oh, you have to do it. It's like, I don't feel it. If the riffs are not coming out of me, if I don't feel right about it, I don't want to put it out. It doesn't matter, I want it to be badass. And our next record, which I see light at the end of the tunnel, it's fucking badass. It's
got
fucking
the songs completed now for the new album and stuff, and I think it's another level for our music, and I can't wait to put it out.
How many songs do you think that'd be then if you do your first full length?
It's like 9, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Like about 9, I think.
9 good songs.
So you think it'd be done and out in 2025? Do you think that's realistic?
We're hoping, that's the plan.
We're working on it now. You know, we got to get it done if it's the last.
We're not recording yet. We're just rehearsing. You know, getting it solid, and
it's like, it's kind of hard now because like when we were kids, we had all this time in the world to do jam out and everything, but now things are different. You got a lot of responsibilities, and you got to take care of this and that. You know, we got the shop, and time just flies, and it's hard to just even think sometimes and come out and stuff.
I mean,
but it's getting done. You know, pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's again, I feel like it's kind of like in the end, it's like I want it to be something that I'm proud of when I listen to, and I don't want it to be something I'll regret. Like, you know, like, oh, we could have done this, we could have done that, and I don't have no regrets. You know, Sadistic Intent's been going to different countries, and the diehards are there. It's fucking metal as fuck. It's like different countries, and people are like actually support the band. I feel like we broke the rules. You know, I remember back in the early days, and people like, you can't go on tour, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Like the record, you have to have a full length record to tour.
Yeah, and we're like, yeah, there's like this rule, and you can't do what you're doing.
And we're doing it, and people are calling us, and the fans, they love it, and we're there. You know, as a matter of fact, last time we were in South America, some kid came up to me, he's like, you know what, we're gonna be like you guys, we're never gonna put a full length out, we're just gonna put EPs out, and it's cool, you know, it's like a thing now, I guess, you know, like.
I mean, some people told us that they like that about us. You know, they
tell us not to put a
somehow,
full length out.
I mean, some of them like, don't ever do it. That's what makes it cool.
Yeah, that's you're gonna ruin it. The mystique, you're gonna ruin it.
But I mean, that's cool, you know. But we didn't really do that. As I don't know. That's. I mean, again, I get it. They respect the attitude because that's what it comes down to. We have like we don't really give a fuck attitude, you know. And we've never been a trendy band, you know. We're underground. We're underground. To this day, we're still underground. It's like, you know, but we've been metal all these fucking years. And I can tell you that, like, we never wimped out. Sadistic Intent was just heavier and heavier. And you know, we didn't wimp out. We're metal. And like we talked about, you know, earlier, we're still that old school essence. We're still metal, not this fucking.
We didn't drop
cheesy,
out of the scene and go to something else and try to come back and
we tried something
pick up
else.
where we left off.
We fumbled how we dropped the ball.
Yeah, we didn't succeed in that.
Now we're gonna try to come back to being metal again.
Yeah, we didn't do that shit.
We were always
metal. A lot of
metal.
people are guilty of that.
And we even
I could name a bunch.
We even opened up a store to try to help keep metal alive. You know, when people are telling us it was dead, metal's dead, we're like, fuck that. We're gonna open a store. We're gonna help this shit, keep it going, keep it alive.
Pass the knowledge.
You know.
Well, speaking of helping, in the early 2000s, you put out the Morbid Faith 7-inch. You re-recorded the song, which I love the re-recording. Like I said, so it was initially on the Conflict Within demo, and then on the Pending Doom 12-inch maxi, and then you guys re-recorded for that.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of surprised with some sets you don't play it. I thought that was like one of kind of your hits. At least for me, I was one of my always my favorite songs. But so you re-recorded that, and on the B side, The Exorcist with Pantera on there. It's funny because that's kind of like his. You guys kind of helped bring him back in the scene.
Yeah.
And then you guys played with Possessed. Like, without you guys, he may never came back and did that new Possessed record.
Yeah, I don't think he would have come back.
I mean, the truth is, Jeff told me himself, without Sadistic Intent, there is no way there would be a Possessed today.
Yeah, it makes
Quote,
sense.
unquote. I mean, he told me that more than once, you know.
I don't think he'll admit it now, but, you know, that's the truth.
You know, and again, I respect Jeff, you know. But, you know, the truth is, he did drop out for a while, you know. And we were always metal, like we said. We've been into this shit since we were fucking kids, early 80s. And we were metal this whole time. And he met us. We got him back into it. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. And again, I mean,
a lot of people may not know that and stuff, but we were the ones that brought him back.
That's the truth.
What did you guys think? I personally liked it. I thought it was gonna suck. I'm just like, because usually, like May was saying, yeah, oh, we're back. And when they put out an album, I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. But when Possessed did a new record, that's when I thought. I was like, well, I'll listen to it, and I actually really liked it personally. I mean, did you guys like it or not like it, or?
I mean, I think at the time it came out, it was like at a weird spot because of the things that happened. So I didn't really listen to it, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
you still haven't heard it?
I heard it, but it was, you know, I didn't really absorb it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rick, you same thing? Pretty much haven't heard it?
No, I haven't really, you know.
With everything that happened, I felt really let down, and I just kind of like, I got rid of a lot of my stuff, so.
Oh, okay. I see. So, moving forward, like the last thing you guys did was the Malignant Spirits 12-inch, and that song was written quite a while ago prior to that, because there's some like bootlegs and shit out there, because I buy everything, so this is the bootlegs official, and there's live recordings of this. So I was like, when that came out, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of not an old song, but kind of an old song. And don't you guys have a few other songs that were like?
We did actually that split with Pentacle.
That's what I had. Yeah, you released that song on there. That song came like, when did you guys write that song? That was way before when that came out.
Malignant Spirits song.
Malignant Spirits, or which one?
Malignant Spirits. Like roughly when did you write that song? Because I heard bootleg recordings that were live way before the split with Pentacle came out.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're talking about Malignant Spirits, we wrote that when we were in Possessed.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we wrote it for Possessed. So I remember I told Jeff that as a Possessed, fan, I would want the music to continue that feel of that original style, and so we tried our best to sort of keep that feel, like I guess learning their songs, it sort of kind of gave you a little more insight into the style of the band.
Sure.
And so I remember literally like the main riff or whatever, it just happened with Jeff next to me, literally.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he was like I remember he was right next to me in the rehearsal room, and the riff came out. And so that's that's how that happened. We were writing it for that band originally, but once the split happened, we decided to keep the song because we wrote it. And
as a Possessed fan, I think we wanted to. I would like to hear the songs in the old style. That's what you would expect. So we were coming out with riffs in that vein and stuff. So but that song we kept it.
Yeah,
that makes sense because it's very obvious.
Well, we didn't touch his lyrics. To be clear about that, we didn't take Jeff's lyrics. Oh, we're gonna take your shit, Jeff. No. It's like I told Jeff, hey, we wrote the song, so it's our song. Your lyrics are your lyrics. We're not gonna touch that. So that was it.
So you rewrote the lyrics then, or?
Originally he had wrote lyrics.
Yeah. So the lyrics that are on the actual song.
No, nothing.
Yeah, who wrote that?
I did.
Okay, yeah. Do you write the lyrics for everything?
I've written a lot. Yeah.
And are you gonna be? So you getting any writers, blank for like the new album as far as like, hey, what do I want to sing about topic wise, or?
It's hard to come out with lyrics. I think it's harder to come out with lyrics than the music for me.
So everything's been said.
Yeah, we already said you can only sing about the same thing over and over.
Right,
so
right.
It starts sounding the same, so it's more of a challenge and stuff.
So you don't have any ideas yet?
I come up with ideas. I try to help Rick because Rick comes out. He's good at writing and stuff, and I kind of shoot ideas at him and stuff.
Yeah, your guys' niche is like dark topics.
Yeah, because we work good together and stuff, and we kind of come out with.
Yeah, it has to be.
Come out with everything.
It has to be something that brings up this death metal darkness. It has to be something.
Do you guys have a strong take on Christianity? I mean, so you guys are both wearing the inverted crosses and shit, which I like. Or is it just kind of like the metal image, or do you truly or definitely dislike Christianity?
I'm not a church-going guy,
Well, I knew that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you definitely have a definite dislike to it. Like someone like Glenn back at Deicide, I'm pretty sure he hates Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, like the way I look at Christianity is I just don't believe that story. You know, I believe it's man-made. And
some people need it, and whatever works for them, that's for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate him. Like, oh, fuck this guy. I want to fucking kill him. You know, because you have to deal with people, and we're in a society like that. You know, what are you gonna do? You know,
Yeah.
It's
So,
kind of like
to each their own. You know, like,
As
hey,
long as they kind of leave you alone.
yeah, just don't come in my face and tell me shit. I don't want to hear it. You know.
But I think it's like,
that's how I feel. You know.
but you know, but we, you know,
I mean, I think when you're growing up and you're younger, you're more full of anger and
Yeah,
you're more
yeah,
hate,
yeah.
and you're more prone to do crazier shit. But the older you get, you know, you see.
I mean, the truth is, if
you know,
you
don't
do
wanna get
shit,
in
like
trouble.
let's say you do something. Oh, we do something against Christians, then you go to jail,
Yeah,
and now you're like, fuck, I'm in jail. Like,
yeah, with a Bible,
you know, like,
bunch of Bible thumping cholos.
you know,
what I mean?
it's kind of like, I don't think it's you know, that's the reality.
Well, so then what did you guys, because you were around, obviously, the
So-
time way before the Norwegian scene, the church burnings and stuff like that. When you heard that, what was your guys' reaction when you heard about that?
Well, I think they grew up in a different environment than we grew up. You know, we grew up in Los Angeles, and it's a different environment. You know, the different reality there.
I mean, it was
And,
a pretty crazy thing.
but-
You know, it was kind of a crazy thing.
I mean,
that
it's pretty
happened.
fucking hardcore. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, these guys did some crazy shit, but I sort of get where, you know, these guys are total into the zone of black metal, right? These guys are we're fucking black metal.
Yeah, like something like
And
that.
it's just,
You can't get away with that shit
Yeah.
back home. You'll
You know?
get busted so fast, and they'll throw the book at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For like stupid shit. You know? So
Yeah.
you gotta be a little bit smarter about.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, when you ask that question about, you know, I think there's definitely
I know we had friends that tried to do stuff like that. You know, just crazy stuff. They got busted. You know, they went to jail, and they came out. They're like, fuck. You know, it's like a new reality for them. So.
yeah, pretty much everybody in LA who tried doing shit got busted, and it's just like, you know, again, you see the results. It's like, it's
You're not
again, you're gonna
doing
sacrifice
anything.
your
You're
freedom.
not
for-
accomplishing anything. You know.
Kind of just fucking yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
Makes my eyes look
but I
worse
think we
even.
have the. It's like a spiritual thing, you know. Like our spiritual, like I think they see God. And, oh, I go to church and God. Well, our fucking music isn't that spiritual level. It's godly, you know. But we're like an ungodly fucking, you know. And we're like we're the resistance to that, you know. It's like I see like we're the fucking like I don't see us as these guys try to paint you as a bad fucking you're a fucking scumbag or some shit. Like we're not going around fucking killing people or doing shit. It's our music. That's what it is. It's a fucking dark fucking music. We sing about dark shit. You know, that's what we do. But it's like you know, we know a common sense. You know, it's like just the Earth. You know, you got the North Pole, the South Pole, the polarities, the negative and positive polarity. It's just we live in this world. And that's again common sense. And I just don't believe and sometimes they do some questionable things, you know, and it's like maybe we should be like, hey, what about them, you know? And it's just like there's different religions, you know. There's different twists on, you know, like, hey, God, oh, God's this way, oh, God's this way, no, God's this way, and they're all fucking, we're right, and you know, and it's like, yeah, so
It's all made to control people, man. That's what it is. You know, some people need it, some people don't.
Yeah, but I guess it keeps them in line.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think it's like fucking, I don't know, dude. God is like this fucking. He's a trippy fucking guy, man. It's like this fucker like just watches everything you do and who you're in bed with or what's going on, and it's like, you know, it's like it's just the whole again this all these rules and if you break my rules, you're gonna be burned in hell forever and ever. And it's just like this. No, I don't believe that.
Well, you definitely got one of my favorite one-liners in death metal. You put on the back of the shirt, "Your God will be destroyed."
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I always loved that. You always put on the shirts of the Age of Black Earth.
Yeah.
I always thought that was great.
Yeah, that's you know, that's the fucking right. It's like a spiritual. Again, once again, it's you know, the inverted cross. I mean, it's like it's basically they in the ancient writings of the Bible, you know, Satan was the adversary, the original, you know, meaning Satan was adversary, right? And we just kind of look at the philosophy coming from that. Like, you know, I guess if you don't follow their shit, you're just the adversary. So we're like the flip side, or whatever.
Sure.
So it's it kind of represents like, yeah, fuck that. We're fucking, yeah, we'll flip the cross. That's we're the adversary, and we don't follow those rules. We don't believe in this fucking hocus pocus, whatever. It's just, don't. Yeah, so again, I mean, to answer your question, I hope we sort of made some.
No, you pretty much answered right. I mean, I'm used to Babe being the most talkative one when I talk to you guys. Rick's done all the goddamn talking. You got anything to elaborate that on that, Babe, or no?
You know, it's pretty much kind of in the same vein. You know,
Summed it up again.
We kind of share the same view and stuff. So, you know, it's putting it out there.
All right, so I don't want to overstay my welcome with you guys, and you go up. What do you? I think you guys go up next, or check it out. Yeah. So, is there anything lastly you guys want to say or shout out? Maybe the store or anything you're on the market. Anything you want to shout out?
Stay tuned for the new Sadistic Intent. Be coming soon.
No album title yet?
You know, we'll probably keep the same one. You know, it's still in development.
Okay.
But that's the plan.
I want to say thank you for your support.
Of course.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You know, yeah, appreciate it, man.
Hey, cameraman.
Thanks to all the fans for their continued support.
Yeah.
You know,
hey, cameraman.
Come visit us in LA at Dark Realm Records.
All right. Well, that's it for this one. Goddamn it, cameraman's out there fucking chit chatting. Later, goddamn it.